Hi, my name's John. Welcome to another Sunday night nightcap. Tonight's nightcap, I do a fabrication and a bit of welding job. It's actually something to do with the church, which I suppose is quite relative because tonight is actually Christmas Eve. In part 2 of tonight's nightcaps, it's going to be a completely different thing to what I normally do. All it's going to be is outtakes. Now in this outtake video, make no mistake, there's lots of foul language, so I suggest you didn't let the young children watch it. Saying that, there's nothing in there that you're doing here after 9 o'clock on the TV. That's enough talk, let's get on with part 1 of tonight's nightcaps. I've got an interesting fabrication job to do here. This has got something to do with the church and something to do with christening babies. It's certainly very, very old. It's been repaired, been brazed up in several places, and it leaks water. It's had a patch brazed into there. It certainly looks old. Patch brazed into there. I'm going to try and make one of them or replicate it. 490 circle with a 380 hole in the middle. I'll do a drawing and I'll set the plasma table up and I'll cut the ring first, and then we'll go about making the outside edges. It'll do the inner circle first, obviously. That falls out, then it'll come out and do the outside circle. It's cutting at a 30 amp, and it's making quite a nice job of it. Now the outer circle, I've got a job for the inner bit. I can make something out of that. Now it's buckled and lifts it up to the far side. That's one of the problems with cutting plate, especially thinner stuff in this. The machine's got what they call a torque height controller, which goes onto the height of the torch as the plate buckles. Right, so that's the basic ring cut out. Keep that bit for another job I've got. And that's decent. There's a little bit of flash on the edges, but nothing to worry about. Right, that's the ring cut. It's turned out quite nicely, and I've cut some flat strips that I need to bend around there and around the inside. There's a friend of mine got a sheet metal roller. I think I'll go and see him and see if I can use his roller just to form those. It'll be easier to roll them properly. I could bend them around some of them, but when they're rolled, it makes a much better job. So we'll go down to his place, see if I can use his rollers. Right, the two hoops roll very nicely. I had to extend them because I couldn't cut a piece big enough on my table. But we've got two nicely rolled hoops, which is going to be ideal to go in there. This one's slightly long, but what I think I'll do is I'll put some tacks on it and then I'll trim it to fit. Just tack it on the inside with a MIG, and I think what I'll do, I'll turn it over and TIG weld it. It'll make a much neater, tidy job. I'm just going to clean the bench up a little bit, get some of these rags off where I've been welding things onto it, and then we'll start to put this together. I've put a series of tacks around here to hold it in place, and I'm going to TIG weld it from the inside. These are just to hold it. We've come to the point now we need to cut this to make it fit properly. There's a little bit one's cutting out of there. And on the other side, that's lying flush. Well, this bit's slightly proud, and it should just run in quite nicely with a fusion weld around there. And so this needs cutting now. basically up that line. quite nice. Little gap to fill back, quickly fill that. We'll put some tacks on here now, and then that tack's actually broken off there. That's better. The cuttings went a little bit off there, there's a little bit of a gap, but I'll be able to fill that, no problem. So I've left a gap there, unfortunately. That's a block of graphite. So I should be able to weld down there, and it won't stick to the graphite, but it'll fill the gap in quite nicely. I'm going to treat that outside ring in exactly the same way, just tack it on with some tacks from the inside, and then we can turn it over and weld it on with a TIG. This bench is nice and flat as well, which is really helping to keep it all nice and square. But I think a little few imperfections is going to add to it, because the old one certainly isn't perfectly round and square. We'll see if I can make a better job of cutting this one. Certainly couldn't be any worse. That's better. All we've got now is the gap of the blade. That'll be fine. That'll weld up quite nicely. I have tried to take this and it doesn't like it. The problem I've got is I didn't grind the mill scale off the inside, and it's pulling the mill scale through and making the welds porous. So I'm just going to put some MIG around it, and MIG will be perfectly alright. A nice tiny bead of MIG. And that's going in very nicely indeed. Settings are just nice. This is the new Tack MIG 181. So you get dead on welding this. This is not holy water, but it's throttle water, which is probably near enough. It doesn't appear to be leaking. I might put a little bit of crack test into it just to make sure, but there's nothing kind of pissing out anyway. I'll put a little bit of dye pen on just to make sure. I don't want it to have to come back. It didn't leak water. I want to put some dye pen in just to make sure. This stuff finds holes the size of flies' legs. If this doesn't come through, nothing will. Right, so leave that for a bit, and that seeps in any cracks and crevices or imperfections in the weld. You can normally see it go straight through, but yet there is a spray you spray on, and that makes it go white, and the crack shows up as a bright red line. I'm pretty confident it'll be alright. 99% confident as usual. That phrase, holes the size of spiders' legs, that was one of Fred Dibnah's phrases, and it's stuck with me for a lot of years now. I think it's very descriptive, because flies' legs aren't very thick, are they? There's all these bits of wire to put in as well. They all appear to point towards the centre. It should be fairly easy to, I mean the gaps are different anyway on them. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 6, basically 16. And what we can do, we can find the centre here and just put a mark on. I'll probably put a little nick across there with an angle grinder and just brace some bits of 8th welding rod on. That should be good enough. It certainly looks good. There's no signs of any dye coming through any of the welds. If there is, this stuff just turned red, you can see it instantly. It's like chalk dust. So it shows up on the, possibly there. There's a little bit there. I'll just run across that little bit again. It looks alright, but the dye has come through there and there. In 2 places. And we'll run some more MIG into them, and then basically that's is it done. Right, we've got it now, that's it. No more leaks, so it would show up straight away if there was any. Now we need to put all these little wire bars across. I've got some 3.2 welding rods. I'll just knock the flux off and use that. I put a pin in the middle of the bench just so I can centralise it, or roughly centralise it. It's not that critical. I mean, that's good for a first guess, like. Right, so what I'm going to do is put nicks in each one, just with a slit and saw blade or an angle grinder, just so that I can lie the pieces of wire in, and I'll probably end up brazing them in place. We'll do 2 that way, and then we'll kind of guess 90 degrees, which looks, that looks good. Right. So that's going to fit in there, be brazed in, and that'll do the job quite nicely. I'll braze these 4 in just to make sure it's going to work, and then I'll carry on and notch the rest of it out. That's better. Back in here. Doesn't work out quite as well as I thought it would. That is horrible. I mean, they're breathing in, but I'm not sort of, not go anywhere. They aren't going to go anywhere. I think that's that finished. I'll give it a coat of primer and a coat of black paint, and it should be good to go for another. Certainly outlast me, I would imagine. The red dye is actually coming out of the welds. You should seal it in, and a coat of black. I think it stands with water in all the time, that's probably why it's corroded so much. But these modern paints should give it a good level of protection. Of course, he has the wind coming out to blow all the dust and shite everywhere. Right, let that dry, then a coat of black on the end will be good to go. The noise you can hear is the extractor fan running that I use on the plasma table, which means I can spray paint in here without poisoning myself. Put a nice black gloss paint. Plenty in there so it flows into the joints. Right, we'll let that dry, then possibly another coat. Once again, it's just time to say thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing. As usual, if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'd like to take this opportunity to say a massive thank you to all my viewers, to my channel sponsors, Rob from Extreme Plasma and Rob from Tack Welding, as well as all my patrons who've allowed me, through their generosity, to have a slightly different lifestyle to what I had and spend a lot more time making videos and pissing about in the workshop. So it's a massive thanks from me. Don't forget, this time of year, I don't care what religion you are, I just don't care. To me, Christmas is all about kids and old people, friends you haven't seen, your parents. If you haven't seen your parents or your brother or sister, go and see them. Because sadly I can't do that anymore. Anyway, thanks for watching.